The jobs, the job stifles your creativity. You need a job to pay your bills, but you want to work your gift to build wealth. When you get off the job, you should be working your gift. If you run your personal finances in a poor manner, you're going to run your business finances just as poorly.
We were actually in this office and you said to me, sis, you have to execute faith over fear.
Mm-hmm. I'm working with clients where when I give them the numbers, it's validating what they felt. Mm-hmm. They felt like something was going on, but they couldn't pinpoint it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Growth Motivator Live. I am here with today's guest, Kristal Anderson, a certified public accountant. Hi, Kristal.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So listen, tell our listening audience about your background, how you got started, but give us the Cliff Notes version because I know your journey is very extensive.
Yes, it is. So like you said, I've been a practicing certified public accountant since 2004. I have my own firm, Anderson's Enterprise Management Corporation, also known as AEMC. We are a small boutique CPA firm that specializes with working with small business owners and individuals who want to get more financial guidance and tax strategies and a little bit more complex service offerings. We have built our practice on believing in education of our clients because we believe when you know better, you do better. So we really look at it as a partnership between our firm and our clients. We're taking our professional expertise and aligning it with your goals that you're trying to achieve in your business or in your personal finances. And we work together. We get in the trenches with you and we help you build that business up, improve your financials. So our goal is that year over year, we should see some improvements with our clients. And most of our clients feel more informed and more confident in making financial decisions when they're working with us. So we're proud of that, and we pride ourselves in helping our clients in that way.
Awesome. So you know what? I have to say that I love your introduction, and I can vouch for the fact that all the things you said are true.
Yes,
so you started your firm in 2004. You probably don't remember this, but we started our business relationship in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 2024 and all the things about the educational aspect, the partnership. I want to tell you that I definitely value your expertise, your
Thank you.
guidance. You saw me through the good times and the bad
Mm-hmm.
times of my business, even closing the business. Because I
Yep.
think oftentimes we hold on to things that no longer serve us.
Yes.
So I love the fact that you are start to finish.
Yes.
I was telling one of our young producers, Stefan, as he was building his business about the importance of having CPA guidance from the beginning. And I think oftentimes when we start businesses, we have this big idea, but we have no infrastructure in
Mm-hmm.
place. And when you go from being employed to the employer, the same processes that your organization has that you work for, you need to
Mm-hmm.
have it on a much smaller scale, but you
Yes.
need to have it in place.
Yeah, and that is really something that I uh, can wholeheartedly agree to, and a couple of you said a couple of things, but I want to just number one, I was just recently listening to a minister by the name of Miles Monroe. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he was talking about how to go from your job to your gift, and talking about, how the job really, in my own words, paraphrasing him, what I got from it was the job stifles your creativity. You need a job to pay your bills, but you want to work your gift to build wealth in your life.
Mm.
And so when you get off that job that just paying the jobs, the bills, he said, never let your hands go idle. So when you get off the job, you should be working your gift. And you shouldn't be spending a lot of time sleeping or looking at TV, because that's the time you should be working your gift. And the gift is going to build wealth for you. And I tried to have that conversation with my 14-year-old daughter, who's an artist, and I help her set up her business because I truly believe in introducing entrepreneurship to your kids at a young age. I mean, my sons can remember having a candy store, lemonade stand, t-shirt company. They had it all, and now today they're running their own businesses. So I think entrepreneurship is very important because a job can make you feel trapped a lot of times. And a lot of adults that I have worked with have found it very hard to make that transition. And I want to just say congratulations to you for making that leap from the job to working full time on your passion and your gifts, because it is important. But you have the daunting weight of, how do I pay my bills? How do I make it happen if I leave this job? And that's why, while you're having that job, you should be working your gift at the same time, so that you can eventually make that transition as smoothly as possible. It's going to be some bumps in the road. It wasn't easy when I got my firm going. It was a lot of ups and downs. And I still remember the month of November that I didn't get a single payment from a client. I didn't get a customer. It was like the slowest time that I ever recalled in my business. And one thing entrepreneurship taught me how to do was pray and have faith that, at the end of the day, God is my provider, and he brings the customers. And the power of visualization. What do I want to see happen in my business? I had to shift my focus from what I don't have to what I want, and what I feel like God is going to bless me with. And that's really what kept me going through these years of building up my business. But I think that a lot of people get hung up in the job and we make that job our end all be all. And we need to understand that, yes, the job has its place. I've taught my kids, if you want to go, like my son just finished chef school, and I told him, if you want to be the best chef, the only reason I would say to get a job is to learn the ins and outs of running a restaurant. If you want to ultimately own your own restaurant, then you're getting a job not as a means to an end as far as making money, but you're there to learn, and you're there to give services of yourself. I think when we shift our way of thinking about why we're getting a job, that is what can make us feel either stifled or stuck or trapped, Or no, this job is a part of the journey for me getting to entrepreneurship, because I want to get in this job and I want to learn everything. I want to get in and really see and understand every facet of this business, so that when I get my own restaurant, I'll learn from the mistakes that I saw this business make. I'll take from what was working for them and apply that to my business. So it's about the mind shift. And I think the mind shift is the mindset of people is really what dictates your finances. And I
Mm.
once said to someone before, I said, and they kind of looked strange at me, but I still stand on it to this day. I said, if the same mentality, if you run your personal finances in a poor manner, you're going to run your business finances just as poorly. And like, no, 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 because in my business, I make sure I only use this one bank account and I do this and I do that and I keep it separate. Understand what I'm saying? The same mentality that's making the decisions over what you do over your personal finances is the same mentality making the decisions in your business. So if you're not monitoring your cash flows, as far as what's coming in, what's going out on your personal, and you're heavy in debt and you've let things kind of get away from you, is it not gonna happen in the business where you're not gonna be paying attention to the cash inflows and what's going out? And I see so many businesses, and it doesn't matter what size. I work with them all, multi-million dollar companies to startups with no money. It's the same situation. Cash flows. If you don't monitor the money coming in and what's going out, you will be broke. You can have a $30 million firm and be spending 35 million a year.
Mm. That's that education piece that you talked about.
Yes. And so I tell people, we've had CEOs that have grown their business from nothing to multi-millions, and they've called us in for the rescue. And in this one situation, it was a little too late, and they did end up closing. It was unfortunate, but the cash flows, there was no control over the cash flows. And they did have a person, like you said to your point earlier when we were talking, that you want to get a team, you want to get someone in there to monitor this for you. But the problem was the person they put in charge was not skilled enough to handle
Mm.
the level of responsibility that really came with monitoring it. And that's what I see as a big mistake for a lot of small businesses coming up. When you're starting out, you reach out for anyone that can help you, right? We hire our family, friends, and we heard our my cousin's daughter is going to school for accounting, and she can help me in the bookkeeping. And we get these people that are, they know some things, but they're not as knowledgeable as they need to be to help you in the way that you need it. And you don't give them any oversight, and you let them be in control of that. And then you think because you have these different people in these different places that everything is going to work out. And it was like, no. And that was one of the mistakes this one company did. They believed in helping people, and that's good. But you cannot put people in a position that they're not ready for or groomed for. So
Mm.
it's okay to want to hire from the inside and promote from the inside and take someone from being on this low position to now they're running your HR department. But what skill set, what courses did you require of them to get? What certifications did you require for them to get? Because now you have your HR department being ran by someone who does not know anything about HR. They know about the job, they can connect with the people because they did that job, but they don't understand what you need when you're going to get a contract, for instance, and it requires you to do more hiring. You're relying on the information and knowledge from that HR rep, but that HR rep is not knowing what you need to know. So because they don't know and you don't know, then you're going blindly into contractual agreements with the wrong information or with incomplete information. And it's just a trickle down effect. You just keep, one thing just leads to another. And again, you find yourself making a lot of money, but a lot of money going out. And you're like, I can only barely cover payroll, but I can't pay my other vendors that I'm doing
Can't pay
business with.
myself.
I can't pay myself. So it's something that can be avoided by just keeping records and looking at them. I tell people it's not enough to just get QuickBooks or get an
Mm-hmm.
accounting system that manages your that tracks your expenses and your income. But how often do you read those reports? When do you get a balance sheet? When do you get a profit and loss report? When do you get your cash flow statement and look at it? And do you understand what it's telling you? So that's why I like to tell my clients it's not enough to just get regular bookkeeping services from us, but let's put something on the books quarterly or monthly or at least annually to have a talk about what's going on with your business. Most of our clients don't have a strategy though. So it's like we can tell you these things, but what are you going to do with the information that we're telling you? What's your goals? Because we can tell you, hey, if you're trying to get here, what you're doing right now is not going to get you there. I had a new client. She just opened up a beauty school, and she said, Kristal, I was so nervous about you coming to see me because I know I don't have my paperwork together. I know I don't have everything that you're going to be looking for. And you don't play, like, and she, when I was there with her and going through what she needed, she came with a beautiful party bag, and I thought she was giving me a gift. I'm like, oh, you got me a gift, you really appreciate your CPA. And I looked in there, it was a bag of receipts. I'm like,
Yes,
no. I
yes.
said, you cannot run your business off a bag of receipts. That means you giving me these receipts means they're not in the system anywhere where you can tell me how much you spend in a month, 2 months, quarterly. You can't tell me, you can tell me probably what you have coming in because you can go to the cash register and push a button and run a quick report. But you can't tell me where the money went unless I go through these receipts. So of course I charged her for having to go through all of
As
that.
you should.
Yes, but it's if you cannot run your business. And I told her just straight out, if you want to be a boss, you want to leave a legacy. We start our businesses for different reasons, but most of our clients started because they want to take care of their family. They want to reach the financial independence through their business. They want to be able to say, while I've been running this business, I was able to put away for retirement. You want to build your business in a way that you can sell it one day. These are all things that we should be thinking about. So you want to have things in order. If you're trying to sell your business, people are going to be like, well, hey, how much have you been making over the years? How much profit can I expect from this? They're going to want certain information that you want to be able to give them. And if you have not been tracking and running reports and running your business like a business, and you have a shoebox of receipts, what is your business worth? At this point, nothing.
Yes,
Because what am I
yes.
buying? I don't know what I'm buying. So it's a lot that goes into this entrepreneurship thing, and it's all about your mental attitude and what are your goals, what are your objectives, and realistically, can you reach them if you don't do certain things? And are you willing to do what it takes to be successful? When I have new clients come in, I say, what are you willing to do to be successful? What is your goal? And I'll tell you what we need to do. And are you willing to give me the information when I need it? Are you willing to get in the trenches with me, like I'm willing to get in the trenches with you to help you grow your business? Because it's a two-way thing. It's a partnership.
Kristal, that was so much information. So let me just try to, I'm going to pick 3 areas I want to emphasize. So, number
Okay.
one, you alluded to my transition. So, for those of you that don't know, I decided that I was no longer going to be held hostage by salary and benefits. For 25 years, I was attempting to grow my business, worked a full time job, and about 5 part-time jobs because I thought that that's what I needed to do in order for the business to grow.
Mm.
So there was a couple of things I realized. Number one, about 30 days into letting go of that full-time job, I felt a sense of peace that I had
Mm.
never felt before. My mom was like, "Oh, you're so much more relaxed." And I realized that I needed to shed the weight of that job because it was holding me hostage. It was holding me from being creative and walking in my gift,
Yes.
walking in my zone of
Yes.
genius. And I want to publicly thank you
Oh.
for helping me get to that place. Because I don't know if you remember, we were actually in this office, and you said to me, sis, you have to execute faith over fear.
Mm-hmm.
And fear was the number one reason that I held on to that job. I held on to the quote unquote financial stability, but
Yes.
it really wasn't financial stability because when you have more money, you're spending more money. And what I wound up doing was putting myself in a place financially where it prevented me, or so I thought, from leaving that job.
Mm.
But once I made the decision to cut the cord, I have not looked back.
Good. And I'm
I
so
even
happy for you.
I even took myself on a date when the Beyonce Renaissance tour came out. And
Okay.
let me just say this: I'm not a Beyonce fan, but when I watched her movie, when I listened to her journey, what she did behind the scenes to execute this amazing experience for her beehive,
Mm-hmm.
I realized that in order to get to the place that you want to go to, you got to focus on that one thing.
Yes.
That one thing and work that one thing. So, thank you
You're
for
welcome.
pushing me
Yes.
to that next place. And the other point I want to bring up is you talked about business owners not having the structure in place.
Yes.
You know what? There are classes that you can take about entrepreneurship, but what you really need are those partners. You need that financial partner from the beginning. You need a business consultant that's willing to pour into you and help
Mm-hmm.
you go from point A to Z. But you also got to think about and ask yourself this question: is this a hobby or is this a business?
Yes. Yes.
Because if it's a hobby, you can just keep knitting those scarves and giving them away to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a business, you got to think like a CEO.
Yes.
You have to be strategic about everything you're going to do. I talked about, we were on a commercial break, I talked about how for this new season of my entrepreneurship journey, how I'm going to just focus on two things. Now, there may be things underneath those two things that I do, but my two core solutions are what I'm going to focus on
Yes.
because I realize those two areas are when I operate the best.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
not that I'm not good in those other areas, but what I realized, I had became an octopus.
Yes.
And I had all these arms trying to do all these things, and I literally was just getting nowhere fast.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what really helped me get there?
What?
I started looking at the books.
Okay.
I started looking at the
Yes.
numbers.
And I remember when you started, the whole conversation that we would have shifted.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know what it was? So number one, I told QuickBooks, hey, QuickBooks, send me this report every Friday. And for a while, the report would hit my inbox, but I wasn't really looking at the report.
Okay.
And so I think that when you know better, you can do better.
Yes.
But you also have to be in a position to receive it.
Yes.
And sometimes your space is so crowded with junk that you're not ready to receive it. And when I got to the point where I was like, oh, you paying for this? You don't need this. Cut,
Yep.
cut. And as I started paring down, the next season of entrepreneurship is going to look different because
Mm-hmm.
I figured out my pricing. I figured out the
Yes.
things that I don't need to do. But I also, most importantly, figured out the things that I must do on a regular basis without fail.
Yes. And I think that's a lot of entrepreneurs that one, when we get in business, if you don't have a strategy, then you'll start providing a certain service. And then when a customer comes and says, oh, you should do this too, or have you thought about doing this? And then we start tweaking everything and we kind of get away from what we really started this business and doing. And like you said, you turn into this octopus trying to provide all of these different services. One of the things about my firm, I say, I had to get in the lane. I had to say, okay, well, who do I want to service? And for me, the entrepreneurs really hit home for me as my target because I grew up in entrepreneurship. My father was an entrepreneur. He's always had an HVAC business, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning business. And he was very successful in his business, but he did have some failures. And he started new firms. And he was so happy when I became a CPA. He was like, I wish you were a CPA like 10 years ago. But I'm like, well, I'm here now, Dad. I'm here now. But you have to pick a lane and stay focused and true to what is your passion and what was driving you to start this journey in the first place. And that's why everything we do is centered around the entrepreneur. If you look at my website, you're going to understand I'm not a CPA that just provides tax services and just say, yeah, we do businesses too. No, you can tell from our website that we're all about the small business owner. From the blog articles we write to the free content, the ebooks that we write, we are really about educating you and giving you the resources that you need and helping you stay compliant. Because when you start a business, staying on top of your taxes and knowing what you're supposed to be responsible for and when that due date comes and avoiding those hefty penalties, that's the number one concern for a lot of people. So to your point, when you say you have to get the right team and the right financial partner, it's the right people that want to give to you, that want to see you succeed. And I think when most people talk to me, they see I'm passionate about what I'm doing and what I can do for them. They're confident that I know my stuff, but most importantly, they feel like I care. And that's what you want on your team. You want not just someone who knows what they know, they're an expert, but do they care enough to make sure that what they know, they spill into you and what you're trying to accomplish? And does that help you to grow and become a better entrepreneur, a better business person? I find myself giving marketing advice, all kind of different advice that's not just about taxes and accounting, because it all really goes together. And like you said, Beyonce created an experience for her beehives. And I think that that's the same mindset that every entrepreneur needs to go into their business, saying, what am I giving to my customers? What experience are they going to have with me that's going to make them spend more money with me? What value am I going to give to them that they're going to put a dollar amount on? And that's it. When you shift your mind from saying, I'm going into business to make money, to I'm going into business to provide an experience, to bring value to those who need what I'm offering. That's a big difference. And that makes a difference in how you're compensated. That makes a difference to me in the success that you experience. It's nothing like going into a Home Depot and asking someone, hey, you know what, I'm trying to do this project at home and I don't know what I need. And they're rattling off all of the different things you can do. And you're like, yes, I found the right person, versus someone say, you know what, I don't know, you can go down and check aisle 5. That same, what energy, what level of value are you creating and delivering to your customers in their experience? That's going to make the difference. And that's the difference in what I see in my clients who are succeeding in business and who are not succeeding in business, is the value you're delivering, and then how you managing the money that you have coming in. Looking at those reports. I think, to your point, sometimes people don't look at those reports either because they already know what it's going to say. They already know that they probably overspent, and they don't want to come to that reality right now. So I'm gonna look at that report later. I don't want to talk to Kristal right now because Mama Tax Bear is gonna get all on me. I'm gonna be in trouble. So let me just hold off my conversation until tax time. But that's when you need to talk to me. You need to talk to me when you starting up before you get a dollar in your pocket. You need to talk to me throughout the process. That's why it's like, no, we get in the trenches. It's a partnership. Because you need me even when you don't think you need me. If there's a question that comes up about, your personal, your business is closely tied to your personal. You want to succeed in business because 9 times out of 10 that business is providing for your personal needs. So can you get to the point of paying yourself a salary? How do I get to that point? A lot of my clients are to that point where they're able to pay a salary, but then I'm saying, okay, The same benefits you had at that corporate job is what you need to give to yourself in your business. So do you have a 401k plan? Do you have benefits that you can give to yourself in your business? If not, that should be a financial goal we need to put on the table and start monitoring what you're spending your money on so that you can redirect those funds. Because sometimes it's not about needing to bring in more money. We just need to do better about managing what we already have. So I think
Whoa. Listen. I knew this conversation was going to be deep. And there's a couple of good things that are happening here. Number one, I am sure that there are entrepreneurs out there that say, we need Kristal Anderson, Kristal Stevenson. I want to just,
yes,
I
you've
want to
been with me
keep,
for a long time.
I know. But there are also some folks that probably say, oh, she seemed like she's going to be expensive. And one of the things I want to say about that, you want to pay your partners their rate. We can never pay you your worth because you're worth more than what you charge. But your rate is your rate as a CPA, as the expert, as the talent. So as an entrepreneur, you've got to charge your rate.
Exactly.
And individuals that don't want to pay your rate, you can't serve them.
Exactly.
Because if you allow people to nickel and dime you, you're never going to grow.
And that's so key. I learned, I started forcing myself to add another zero to the end of a price. If I was thinking a price, I would say, you know what, you're thinking too low. Add a zero. And it took a client of mine that said, Kristal, everything you did for me. And then at the end of the service, I gave him his price. He said, that's all you charging me? He said, you're not charging enough. He said, because the value of what you just gave me, I would have paid more. He said, now don't jump on your prices right now. Don't increase them right now. But it made me think, like, even though my rate now is $425 an hour, I try to make sure that I give more value than what you're paying for. And it shows up in different ways. It shows up when you're at your dire moment and you need that loan and you need financial statements quickly and you have 3 days to get it done. And I say, okay, well, I can get that done for you. And we get it done. And you go and get that loan. That means the world. That means the world. Is it worth the $425 that you paid? If you come to me and say, well, Kristal, I know I'm at the last minute. And if I don't get this done, the IRS is going to hit me with a penalty. Can you get it done for me? I know I'm coming with a day. I'm the type of person that would go into my night, into my personal time, and get it done for you. That's what you are paying for. You're paying for someone who is going to be able to help you and be flexible. And so you got to look at it's not everybody that's charging almost $500 an hour is worth $500 an hour. So I'm not going to say that everybody charging a high rate means that they're going to be giving premium services. And that's why I say you have to look at what you're paying for.
And you got to understand what your needs are and what the benefits are.
Exactly. And so I think that you size up a CPA based on not just their price that they're going to charge you, but you size them up based on, this is what I need. And then that person, are they making you aware that you need something else too that you don't even realize that you need it, but it makes sense. And you're like, I didn't even, yes. And so someone is like thinking about things that you may not know. And so they got your back. Mm-hmm. That's what you want on your team, and that's why I say care. Do you care about my business? Do you care about your clients, or am I just another dollar?
So like an assembly line.
Yeah.
Because I can recall, I'm and no shade to these companies that we see on the TV, but I used to have before I started with you in 2009, I had my business and personal company taxes done by one of those companies that are in every state. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get the experience. I didn't get the support. I didn't get the education, and those are critical. Yes. Right? I got my taxes done, but was everything explained to me? Was there a collaboration with me? No. I went in with my papers. They plugged some stuff into some computer templates, and that was it.
And you signed it and was on your way. Yeah. Yeah. I tell clients, most of my clients spend more time with me in their tax meeting than they spend with their doctor.
Oh, facts. I listen. I remember the one year where we had made a lot of money in the business, and Paul and I sat in this office trying to go through bank statements to the extent that we're in full blown arguments about bank statements, right?
Mhm.
And so what I learned from that experience, number one, you got to be monitoring your finances. Really, some people may think weekly is too much, but weekly is easier to digest
Yes, it is.
than a month, a year. Having a
Yes.
bag full of receipts, trying to remember
Yes.
what happened and who you did it with and how you did it and how you're supposed to be deducting it. The
Absolutely.
human brain at some point is going to shut down when you're trying to give it all the information. We're not computers.
Right. And weekly though lets you get more our minds work on a repetitive nature. It's all about repetition. So week to week, if you're looking at your finances, you can more easily identify when something kind of went astray. Or, oh, you know what, wait a minute. Last week I was I recall doing a little bit better than that. Let me go back to a few weeks ago and see. You can start to catch patterns, and you can start to see, oh, you know what? I may have went a little over, but I know why I went a little over this week because of what I'm planning on doing or my goal that I'm going after or whatever. So at least you know, and the numbers start speaking. And a lot of times I'm working with clients where when I give them the numbers, it's validating what they felt. They felt like something was going on, but they couldn't pinpoint it. And now that they have their finances, it's in view. It's clear now. Okay, yep, I know that month because I was feeling like I didn't have enough to do X, Y, and Z, and that's what happened. Okay, so the numbers start making sense and aligning with what you feel, but you don't want to just feel. You want to know.
Absolutely. I call that data driven decision making.
Yes, yes.
So, Kristal, it has been such an honor
Yes,
to
thank
have
you.
you
And it's
here today.
been fun talking to you.
We don't listen. You have given our listening, viewing audience so much information. We will make sure that they have your information
Thank you.
so that they can contact you.
Yes.
And those that you're supposed to serve, you'll be able to serve them. And those that you
Yes.
needed to repel, trust me, you have repelled them. They turned
Yes.
this off about
Excellent.
15 minutes ago.
Excellent. And we're going to be having training programs around business development and a lot of different topics that people can just go online and just pay for different courses and workshops. So we're looking at putting that together and rolling that out sometime in 2024. So stay tuned for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
This has been the Growth Motivator Live with your host, Dr. Lisa L. Campbell. I'll see you next time.